Hey, there's Scorpio. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, be sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we have here at Joy to the World, be sure to give us that big thumbs up, like, share, and also comment down below. Fill me in on what's going on the other side, would ya? Also, thank you for any donations that have been sent into this channel. I've got more decks coming and I'm pretty excited about it. I love all the creative flow that comes in here. And speaking of flow, you've got some stuff going on in your head, Scorpio. The King and the Queen of Swords showed up back to back, and so you're kind of hemmed in by thoughts on all sides, kind of plagued with some air energy moving on around, and it has gotten you frazzled to a bit because out of the other decks that I've ordered, the mystical moon magic and medicine deck, I combined the three of them that I was telling you about that came in into that little stack we have going on there, and Valerian showed up. So it's talking about some trouble sleeping, but I will tell you, with that Piscean moon coming in, many people are having disturbed sleep, and we could call it disturbed sleep, interrupted sleep, or we could look at it, you're showing me my labradorite over here. See, it can look like it's one thing, but if we begin to examine it under the lens of a different perspective, we see a whole new world. And that's kind of what they say that's going on with this dream state right now, with the mentality going on, with your mind being pelted and kind of like, it's like buckshot or birdshot, like when people hunt the shotgun shells, all these little beads and pebbles that scoot out, and now to a human it's just disturbing, it's irritating, but that's what has got you a bit worked up, and you're needing to calm it and cool it and to get happy and cheerful about it. That's what the card is telling me here. This is for your uprising energy. What seems to be getting you one way is actually stimulating a lot of root growth, which is a lot of power. It's initiating unction from the earth to bring forth the resources that you seek. What those resources are yet, I do not know, but you're definitely pointing at the runes. So let's get a peek here to get some opening energy for you guys to go along to let us know about this growth coming in. This growth coming in that brings peace, relaxation. Interesting. Let me check, see if that one's turned over. No. Okay. We have flow. Okay. Experience living, union emerging, unseen powers, and happily ever after. So it's letting me know that life, just like this labradorite that I keep up here, is conspiring to bring about your inner beauty into your outer world. No longer just that mystery of the tough carapace, the harder outer shell, the stinger that's there in the soft mushy insides, but bringing together that balance of the energy that contributes to the wellness of your being. Kind of like the eyes that you guys talk about, which you're going, get our card, Joy. You slacking, Joy? I'm like, no, thank you for keeping me on point, Scorpio. Let's get you an angel area in here, since y'all are very much the ones talking about the initiation of the eyes, of our intelligence, of being able to, instead of being burnt out and so indigo and flickering and vacillating, taking it and spreading it in the links so that we open up our whole world. Ooh. Showing that underbelly, are you, Scorpio? I like that. Okay, so we have Keter, the crown, and spirituality. You're talking about, okay. It's like one of my sons, I mean, he can shoot a basket like anything, you know, 3-pointers, that type of stuff, and he loves playing around with the basketball. But also one of his favorites, he'll go to about half court, chuck it from, you know, over his head behind him, and almost every time sink the basket. But you're doing the inverse here. You're like calling it up and around. You're calling it up to the forefront of your mind, who you are and what you're here for and what you're about. You're bringing it into your mind's eye, into scope, into play here. Hold on just a second. There's some mastery, precision mastery going on of reassimilating your formulation. What exactly you're saying there, you're like reossifying your bones. Okay, so some of you have been through a stressful period, like reossifying your bones. Okay, so that's, restoring your balance to your calm, your cool, your collected, your Valerian self, which to me, Valerian is very Scorpio. Or what was it? Shirley Q. Looker, very Scorpio. You very Scorpio. But it takes that mastery and that precision that you have built during this time. That also, the very thing that depleted you, now that you've assimilated it and you brought it together like two hands, when you bring them together, they can clap, right? They can play, they can pray, they can grasp. Now that you're bringing those 2 points together, you're able to restore what was lost. Interesting. So anyways, when we get stressed, our body uses up an asinine amount of calcium, okay? And it's hard for us to, it leaches it from our bones, it takes it out of our organs wherever it needs to. It can even begin to decay your bones, eat your bones. But now you're calling in the restoration that you're talking about peace like a river. Such abounding peace that it's in the eye of your mind. Restoring your midline. From someone who's had a TBI, traumatic brain injury, your midline is incredibly important. Otherwise, you feel totally off balance, even though you might look straight to somebody else. And it works you, and it bends you, and it molds you, and it plagues you. You're grasping for it. You're grasping for your mind's eye, and when it lands and takes hold, you're sending it like a catcher's mitt. You're going to take hold of this. There's a lot of depth in this, and I could step way into a billion cards, but when you'll ask me to look deeply, that's what I'm going to do, and you'll love it because one of the new decks coming in is dark and shady. I love it. It's fantastic. And it's slightly whimsical and playful too. And I'll have another one coming in mid-September as well, to begin to unearth these secrets. I have a lot of strong Pluto placement and an incredible amount of experience in that area. So that's what y'all are talking about here. How do we take hold of it, Joy? How do we take hold of it? How do we grasp? It's like your hands have been so knit together in prayer in this precision of trying to reformulate, recalibrate, to heal yourself, heal your world, to bring about, because you said it's so much bigger than you, it's your whole wide world, to bring about the order. How do you grasp this with your mind? We're going to put this one to the side for now. Okay, that's why you split the decks. Makes sense. How do you grasp this with your mind? I knew it. I knew it. I go to try and move the deck to make room for these to each have their place. And as I slid the deck, you said, take that card. One grasped the countertop, and it was the wheel. This showed up repeatedly in the splits, and that's what you were talking about, is wanting to be able to get on with it, move time forward. Instead of playing out a cycle or a pattern, you don't want this to be a repeated pattern. You're wanting to clear the generational forces, not just for in your family and in your personal life, but for others as well. So you're talking about some sort of applied knowledge here. I'm telling you, like, have some fun. Roll on, baby, roll on. Because, see, she got fuzzy dice hanging around her neck. Like, yo, hoop, 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 dig. Just put a little bounce in it. Can you remember that? Like, East LA type movies? They would often have the fuzzy dice, and they would have these fantastic cars and trucks that they had lowered so low to the ground, and they would have these mechanical hydraulics in them that could lift them up and lower them down and independently move the different wheels, and everybody get their chance to take their ride down the strip, just like, if you ever saw Hitch, how they each take their turn dancing down the dance floor, or like Solid Gold or something like that, Soul Train. That's what you're talking about, is putting a little bounce to it, taking your turn, taking your stride down the lane, straight up in the middle, bringing in that balance. And this, the understanding, the grasp of the planets, the movement of the wheel, the eye of God is what you're wanting to grasp here. If that wasn't extrapolated, I don't know what is. So let's go ahead and get a couple more cards. I want 2 more cards to come in with that wheel. The eye of God. Well, so to me, what they've been telling me and teaching me, and of course wanting me to provide once I have my website done, is the Eye of God readings on your chart, so that you can know where to put your some focus to unveil and to grasp these great assets about yourself, these things that really facilitate the restoration of who you are, that talk about ease and light. That's what calcium does. It keeps everything, it is a communicator in our body, and it helps things move about with ease, which is why when stress comes in, it destroys the environment of the system, right? And it undermines the whole thing. So when we begin to know those parts of ourselves in the eye of God, of where those stressors could show up, or those tests, or those repeated lessons, or even karmic relationships, and we mean the bondage karmas, the one where somebody loses and misses out, and it does a lot of damage and expense, being able to navigate those areas so that we're already filled up, we're already juiced up, we're already loved up, we're already shored up, stored up, all that good stuff. We know how to use our chopsticks, right? We know how to get a grasp on things. That's too many. All right, y'all. Let's give me a little info. There we go. I want one more. I'm going to go ahead and take another now. I see you. You're not going to come in here. Big chunks are coming. We need a little more clarity for you guys. Bottom of the deck. Okay. So what do you need to grasp? What do you need to grasp? Talking about the Seven of Wands. The exalting of your world in the eye of God, your wheel, your zodiac, your placement, your birth, your natal chart is your world. And you talk about like the 7 primaries. Originally that was the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Interesting, your primaries. I see the stars coming forth about it. It's almost like a globe within an aquarium, within a tank, within Aquarius. Interesting. So in this time, this shift going on, and the interesting thing about me having no air is it can get quite hot in certain rooms of the house at different times of the day. So I just kind of navigate to where it's cooler, or, you know, if I'm sitting here working, once I'm exhausted from the heat, then I go and I just rest and restore, shut my eyes and listen for a little while, because they said they're wanting to talk right now. And they keep showing the circle, and they're really honing in on Aquarius, which is interesting with it being a Piscean moon. But Aquarius has something to do with the key. That's what we were just finding out in, I think it was the Virgo reading that I just did. That will be posted along with your reading as well. Yeah, because it's definitely lighting up in the center of your being. And it has to do with the seat of the soul and taking peace with who you are and what you're here for. That is what lifts you up and rises you up into this ease and facilitates you. You're talking about like, remember? Like this Keter, like a genie, like a magic carpet. Okay, it helps transport you through the layers, through the phases, the layers, the places. It's almost like you're resource gathering. It's funny because y'all don't usually stop and allow me to ponder very much. You're gathering your ideas, you're gathering your knowledge, you're gathering your wisdom as you travel about like that. But it's very cushy and easy is definitely what I see. And you're choosing your sacral chakra. You're choosing a life of pleasure, a life of enjoyment. That means you've had a lot of hard work, difficulty, challenges, you know. I mean, look at this. When you've lost the calcium from your bones, you talk about need to reossify them. You have stood strength against strength, hope beyond hope. You've gone beyond yourself so many times, it's incalculable. Okay? So the way life meets in with that is it rises up to say, hey, let us inundate you with some pleasure. We're going to supercharge you with some sunshine, some solar pleasure. All right, we're going to bring the sun and we're going to charge you up. Just lift your hands and receive. So be ready to receive here, Scorpio. Be ready to receive, and I definitely see it in your truth. I know all this is the attention getter, but it is only highlighting the throat chakra, which is our truth, our example. So it's letting me know that life is wanting to feed you back where you have poured out and where you have given generously of your time, yourself, and who you are, and that living example that you've been is where life is wanting to shore you up and restore you, to fill you, to feed into you, and to pour back into your life. They're saying graciously. That's fantastic. I love that. So I want to get one of these little credit cards on this side over here with Keter. Thank you, Keter, He's looking straight at me now like, you're welcome. Now you've got a grasp and a hold on this. I hope that life being easy is bringing it into balance. It is what turns your wheel. And here's a reiteration of the wheel. Okay? Seeds, stars, and showers. This is about the power of heaven coming in to give you more than enough, to give to you generously in every way so that you will always be able to be generous and that there won't be that backwash going on. And that begins to master your chart and that makes your wheel move. Oh, I love it. So it brings about plenty of seed, both to sow and to eat. Because, bread is made from grains of wheat, right? And so the kernels of wheat, they're ground down. Well, if you grind it down, you can't reassimilate and go, oh, I needed more of that for seed. You can't undo it. So you grind some for your flour, for your bread, for your food, and then you also keep some to sow to your future. So it's about having enough to spend and enough to save, and because it's seeds, stars, and showers, and enough to share. I love that, Scorpio. Your incredibly generous nature. I think that was a big part of what you were talking about the hard exterior with the mushy, soft inner body, but then you were talking about your belly, showing your belly. You're showing your true colors. You're showing your true colors. You're showing your true colors. I love it, Scorpio. Okay, so now we're going to look at the other card that came in with the angel Larian. We have Israfel, the angel of song, and you are like, I am chill, calm, laid back, waiting for my cue. I'm in position, baby. Just tell me when to blow my little horn, and I will sound the announcement. It could be an alarm, but this is like, okay, bugles, horns, things like that in warfare, they were used to announce the approach of the enemy. But also, in fanfare and royalty in the kingdom, they were used to announce entry, okay, of gatherings, of groups, that type of thing. That is what's going on here because this is a mark of victory. So it's announcing the return of the beloved. Who? Well, just step all in that, huh? Just step all in that, Scorpio. Just step all in that. Announce the return of the beloved. Okay, let's go to it. Let's announce the return of the beloved. And I see the bottom of that deck. We have the Six of Cups going on there. Look at that. Look at that portal of you. No longer afraid. Not like your fear is necessarily, it's not necessarily like other people's fear, like other zodiac's fear. Your fear was wired a certain way. It was a survival mode and an instinct. That's how you were wired. It was wired to your stinger. And it's a reflex. And when it gets triggered, there we go. Just like stingrays don't go, ooh, you're near me, I'm going to sting you. No, if a person accidentally steps on it, that tail is a trigger, and as you step like a mousetrap, it flicks it up, and if it hits you, it hits you. They're never aiming for you. So that's your fear, that trigger. It's like you've been gentrified. You've been gentrified. That's the best I know to say, because male or female, whoever's tuning in here, if you're a man, you've been gentled, and that doesn't remove your instinct. Okay, it removes that reflex, that knee-jerk reaction. So now you're dominant in your self-control. You've come back, you have the victory. You've overcome this strain and this difficulty and this whatever else in order to have the soothing, the calm, the cool, the chill, the peace, the presence of mind. And now you like, I know what to do when I get stirred up, both passionate, which we know y'all are passionate, but also in anger and frustration. You're able to just wait until you're ready to communicate. I love that. That's cool. Okay. You still got a bit of a shield going on in your heart. Still got a little bit of a shield going on there. And you're like, that's a bit of a peak to climb for another day, Joy. I see you here, and I see you here. And where's the other one? It's you too. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. First card. Interesting. The first card is inverted, the Spirit of Swords. Oh, haha. Hello. Thank you for making a cameo, Scorpio. Looky. Look at you. You're like, I'm going to be like Bob Barker on Price is Right, Drew Carey. Come on down. Okay, Scorpio, come on down. Come on down from your hiding place. Come on down from where you've had to be through millennia and eons. You're talking about it's more like the word's not coming, but how life develops in the animal kingdom. But you're able to step into your manhood. That gentrification, right? You're able to step into your power and your strength, okay? Because you've mastered your power and you've mastered your strength. And now you can use your words for good and not harm. Now you can use them as a negotiator. Look, I even see you like tickling the beard. You see your little lip like wiggling down here like, oh, what's something got a hold of me? What is this? And even a good sense of humor. Look at that. I don't know what caused you to shy away from it. Something burned you hard there. Something burned you hard and it didn't like. They didn't like it. You didn't like it, whatever. And you shied away. You shied away from one of your greatest gifts. You got a saucy sense of humor and you love a good laugh. That's fantastic. So come on down, Scorpio. Evolution. There we go. There's the word. Your evolution. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm wrapped up in it and it's coming along and I love it because I know it's peacock feathers, so the royalty, the lusciousness, all that, but it's very evergreen. It's kind of like these branches of celebration and praise, and it's everlasting, and there's secret words hidden in there. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't tend to like to use words that slam anyone's intelligence. But the word moron is showing up. And that definitely caused a lava flow, definitely a deep wound. Anyone insinuating that you're stupid or dumb, or even you repeatedly insinuating that you were stupid or dumb, that definitely put a damper on your humor, a damper on your good-naturedness, of your resiliency, of your lightheartedness, because you're showing me your lightheartedness has to do through word and the power of word, and especially the play of word, thus humor, right? Laughter is a good diffuser of the bomb. And that's some of the shying away, the hiding the tears, that type of thing, the deep wound that it caused. But the good news is there is victory over that. You have mastered so much. How challenging. No wonder that you had put all three eyes up here. And one had been knocked out, which made it very hard to be accurate. And it stemmed a lot of mistrust. So if you're new here to this channel, go back and watch some of the Scorpio videos in whatever order you want. That's the neat thing about like assembling a puzzle. When you open the box, the pieces are all in there, and they're not labeled number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. These messages come out with the flow of life, and what you're drawn to is what you're ready for is the next key. It's like a scavenger hunt. One clue leads you on to the next, okay? So if you're new here, go back and check those out, and you'll begin to understand about the eyes that Scorpio has taught us about, very much about the alignment. And it has to do with our intelligence, which, Scorpio, you are intelligent, you are beautiful, and I love your sense of humor. You are intelligent, you are intuitive, you are instinctive, and you are intimate, okay? And that's as far as we've gotten into some of the eyes, but it has been repeated over and over again on this channel, and we are so thankful to Scorpio for sharing that with us. Okay, so next, these two cards are coming in. Who comes in next? Okay, you're volunteering. 10 of Swords. So we're unearthing this deep grief and pain, like you had locked yourself away inside of a vault, a tomb. You're talking about a vector. You locked yourself away inside of a vector. Like in your own house, your own keeping. Keeping to yourself so no one ever really knew you. Yeah, the angels are now going whoop, whoop, like I just dunked the basket. And that was the power that you lived by. Is always keeping a part of yourself to yourself. Never fully sharing yourself with anyone because no one was ever trustworthy. But after, that difficulty and that pain that you endured, how deep that sorrow was, we could see why this thrashing, this binding in, this overgrowth of roots in that mindset have really shrouded you and locked you in place, almost very much like a Medusa effect. Okay, I know it's wood, but it's like it set you in stone. I want to shine that light. There you are. We're going to shine it right on the center there. And we're going to begin to illuminate that energy power flux in the center to power you up and deliver you out of that vector and to bring you forward past the bullheadedness, past the BS. Because that word, that way of being, that way of thinking is BS, and you don't have to live there anymore. There's such a beautiful land, and pass through the cleansing waters and come on out and come see that we are here to receive you and to love you. That the pleasantry that you bring to the air is calming to all. Like that sense of humor, that sensibility, it just has a lot to do with your senses. And that's when you're talking about curing that reflex of the stinger really has to do with the power source. And that's where our sense of smell comes from. And it begins to trigger off and assimilate and hone in and unify all of our other senses. So you feeling empowered from your truth. Because remember the sun. So you're weaving now. You're weaving, being empowered in your truth, standing bold in your confidence, gives grace to a room. If you ever hear about the 3 graces, it brings that energy, that warmth, that God-mindedness, that whole selfedness into a room that really sets the atmosphere free. That's why the angels are like, woo, woo, when we hit on it, they're praising and bringing forth. And now your mind begins to flow with the waters of life, cleansing and purifying you like a fountain, like a waterfall, ever replenishing, ever flourishing. So there will be no more hot-headedness. That's fantastic. In no way diminishing your intelligence, because remember, you brought in the establishment of that intelligence here to this channel, and thank you so much. So next we have the 2 of Pentacles coming in. It's like that blast that sets you free. It begins to put things into motion. So the tree speaks. Remember that tree is that, here it's an evergreen, it's the tree of life. The tree of life speaks, and it's ready to set free and empower you to, remember we were talking about the sacral chakra, the pleasure chakra, that's what you had chosen over here, to begin to initiate. And it's almost like what's that thing called? The funding, Kickstarter, to kickstart you. And not like hard, but like kickstart, like that good thing that it helps get going. It overrides the one remaining excuse you have. And now excuses are often things that we can do something about, but in this case it was a hindrance. It was something you couldn't do anything about. There was something in the way, standing in the way of this movement going forward into your pleasure and into this whole bodied pleasure that we're talking about here. But they kickstart you and you're like, whoa, how do I flow with this? And your tree of life starts shaking, and it begins to wake up the surge of energy, and it thrusts it forward. Thrust it forward, vibrating your moon. I know our moon is where our magic comes from, our mystery, our beauty. Vibrating your moon. Check out your moon placement, okay, Scorpio? So it has some sacral connection going on in there. Check out your moon placement and go watch a video there about that, because that's going to kickstart you. And these waters are calm, cool, chill. I mean, you're going with the flow, you're rolling with it, and you're like, stop, drop, and roll. You're becoming one with your environment. Trusting, at ease. I really like that. So let's get a card on that, okay? Let's get a card on this kickstart for Scorpio. Okay. Time is up. The old day, the old way, the logic, the being hemmed in, the being bound. Remember, logic, it can also be words. There's things that have bound you in. It's freeing you from the power of those words. Because the sacral chakra really has a lot to do with feeling. It has to do with emotive things, stuff that moves us, our senses, right? And that extends so far beyond this. It's beyond the scope of this page. It's like all out here, and in the whole big world is this and this. Remember how we talked about this almost being in a different world out there? Very Aquarian, plasmatic type energy, which is where we create. It's in our land of our imagination, but not like the la-di-da imagination, but literally the power of imagination of a child, restoring your youthfulness and that belief, that full, convicted, wholehearted belief. Well, you could bring in that eye, the eye of imagination. Tick-tock, time is up. Clock strikes 12, and when it seemed like Cinderella's world was coming to an end and all was falling apart and toppling down around her, that shoe, there was a piece, there was a breadcrumb that brings the dream to you, to the dreamer. Hope is not lost, friend. Blow your horn. Blow your horn, Scorpio. I want to get one card. We're going to walk out of this with a pearl of wisdom for Scorpio. Show us some love here for Scorpio. Some clarity. Yep, there we go. The angel of balance. Well, I like this because to me it's the elixir of life. It's all things being restored unto you. Your whole world is being rebuilt. And all that seemed lost wasn't lost. I could cry, y'all, at that. Those of you who've lost so much of yourself, it's been kept and stored in these pyramids and is being brought to you a drop at a time. And a drop may seem like not enough, but no, this is like cosmic drop. That drop is like a ta-dow. You know, it's like a deluge. It's like if the sky opened up like it did here today in Florida and they had to shut certain roads because it flooded so rapidly. It is like that. So the drop comes in and they say one drop is plenty. I love it. Breathe it in. Let it warm your heart, Scorpio. This is Joy saying I love you. We'll talk soon. Bye.